Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. 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 Okay. Over here. There. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We finally get to have our spring Ohigan service. And so this past Monday was the Equinox, right, when day and night are equal time. And so that's the basis of our Ohigan celebration. And so welcome. Even though we're doing it a little bit later, it's fine. The most important thing is that you can be here. So we're very excited to have our Ohigan service today. What we would like to do is start with chanting, and we'd like to chant Gassho to Amida. But I don't think people have the blue folder, do they? So it's going to be on the screen. If you can see the screen, you can use the screen, and if not, we're going to distribute blue folders. And remember, it's under G. There it is. Wow, cool. Can you see that far? If you can see that far, you can use the screen. Oh. In the meantime. There it is. Wow, cool. Gassho to Amida under G for Gassho, like Gassho bear over here. Okay, let's do it. Namanda, 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 namanda. Namu Amida Butsu. I recite Amida's name with deep joy and gratitude. I Gassho to Amida. Trees and grasses and flowers all grow in his compassion. His light shines throughout the world. I Gassho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I Gassho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I Gassho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, It's Amida calling me. His voice and my voice are one. I Gassho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namu Amida Butsu. Then I feel him take my hand. I Gassho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play. Every day with Amida. Every moment filled with light. I Gassho to Amida. Remember the golden chain. Kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I Gassho to Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I Gassho to Amida. Namu Amida Butsu. I live in his compassion. His great power guides my life. I Gassho to Amida. Then we'll do Nembutsu recitation. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 And then the echo. Ganni shikudoku byodo seisai dohoten bodaishin ojo an Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. Okay. So, I don't know if you saw the email that went out, but we have a special guest today. He's technically not a guest speaker because he's kind of shy, so he doesn't talk out loud, but You know who it is? Gary T. Groundhog. Can you see him? There he is. Oh, hang on. They got a spotlight. You gotta let people... Oh, okay, I see what's going on. Yeah, Gary T. Groundhog. Now, groundhogs are kind of connected to spring in a way with Groundhog Day, right? But that's not what Gary's about. Gary was a longtime employee of UPS. That's why he has the brown shirt on, right? So Gary T. Groundhog, I've known Gary for over 20 years. And he's Buddhist, and you can tell because he's wearing his nenju on his left wrist, right? And so Gary T. Groundhog is a longtime Buddhist, and he knows about Ohigan. So we actually have a PowerPoint that Gary put together, okay? Let's make sure it's ready. There. Spring Ohigan with Gary T. Groundhog. Okay, so there he is. He made all these slides, right? And so he wanted to talk about the 6 paramitas, which are also known as the 6 perfections. Okay, how does it feel seeing yourself on the screen? Pretty cool, huh, Gary? Yeah, Gary's excited. He put a lot of work into this PowerPoint. So the 6 perfections are what we think about at Ohigan time. Okay, and so I think you remember Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. Remember that? Can we say it together? Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. And actually, Gassho to Amida was written by Bishop Tsuji, and Bishop Tsuji's daughter, Maya Lawrence, was our Dharma School superintendent, and she came up with Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. It's not actually about Grandpa. It's not actually about pizza delivery. It's not actually about days of the week. It's just a way to remember the 6 perfections, the 6 paramitas. So can you do it? Right? Grandpa starts with G, which is the letter that Gary really likes, because Gary and Groundhog, right? Giving. Delivers, discipline. Pizza, patience. Every is effort. Monday is meditation, and Wednesday is wisdom. I did that off the top of my head, but you don't have to, because boom, you made a slide for it, right? So if you can remember Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday, right? Then you can kind of put it together, right? Okay, giving, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom. This is what bodhisattvas do to become Buddhas. This is the ideal way that Buddhism teaches us. Right, of the ideal way to live your life. But it's a lot, huh? So Gary broke it down into 3, okay? So the first one is Grandpa, giving. Right, so this giving, what does that mean? What's another way to think about that? So it can mean kindness or friendliness. Right, so in Buddhism, we want to be kind. It's okay to cry sometimes. But we want to try to be kind, right? To have kindness. And we want to be friendly, right? To have this friendliness. Okay, so that's the G, the Grandpa in giving, right? Is also, we can think kindness and friendliness. The next one, the bottom one, Wednesday. So wisdom. Okay? So wisdom can also be awareness or mindfulness. Maybe you've heard about mindfulness, right? So this awareness is awareness of all kinds of stuff. It can be awareness of Buddha's teachings. It could be awareness of how I'm feeling. It could be awareness of all kinds of stuff, right? Or mindfulness, to be mindful, to realize, rather than do things mindlessly, we want to be aware. We want to have this mindfulness, okay? So those are pretty easy. Kindness and awareness. But this one, there's 3 in the middle that delivers pizza every, right? And so that's discipline, patience, and effort. And this is where Gary wants to teach you a Japanese word. And it's a G word, right? Because he loves the letter G, right? So Gary has a word that can kind of sum up this discipline, patience, and effort. Any guesses what it is? It starts with G. Ready? Huh? Not that. Not Genki either. What do you think? Gaman. Oh, that's close. That's close. Okay, ready? What's discipline, patience, and effort? Ganbatte. Oh, that was next, right? Ganbatte. Okay, so ganbatte, what does that mean? It means to try, to do your best. Ganbatte, do your best, try your hardest. Okay, and so he likes try too, because his name is Gary T. Groundhog, right? So he likes the G for ganbatte, and he likes the T for try, right? To try. I remember Yamaoka sensei saying, just try, right? Try to do it. Try your best. Do your best. Right? So this is the ideals that Buddhism's teaching us, that we can think about Ohigan time, and that Gary really wanted to pass on to you, right? So we can remember Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. That's one thing, but then you have to remember giving, discipline, patience, effort, right? It's kind of hard. So if you want to simplify it, just to try to be kind, to be aware, and ganbatte, right? To try, okay? So look at that. Isn't that a handsome groundhog? There he is. Oh, yeah. So Gary's really happy. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And so why don't we conclude the Dharma talk with all these ideas from Gary T. Groundhog with Gassho. Oh, another G word. Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Now, okay, I want to put in a plug. We got some Dharma School gear coming up, another G word. Look at this. Isn't that cool? Yeah. BU Buddhism from Buddhist Church of Oakland Dharma School. So we're going to be selling these. Can you see that? Isn't that pretty cool? And then there's also different design t-shirt. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So it's got the Buddha loves you bunch, and they're saying Namo Amida Butsu, right? And then it says Buddhist Church of Oakland Dharma School. So we're going to have these on sale, I think, next week. So we're really excited. So you get a preview, right, of these, and then you know the Buddhist loves you bunch. So we're going to sing, and you can just listen because I don't want to distribute the books. We're going to do Higan I, right? The Gatha that Reverend Yamaoka wrote the lyrics to. And so I'm going to play that on the screen too. So ready? Here we go. Let's see if I got the everything ready. Select a speaker, external headphones. Okay, here we go. And then we put it up on the screen. Okay. There it is. Can you see that? Yep. Okay, and you can sing along if you know it. Okay, and the words will be on the screen, but not the melody.
Purest time in nature's realm, in the early spring and fall. These are the days when hearts of life become one with self and all. In the spring the gentle breezes, in its most sustaining way, lifts our longing spirits beyond the toils of life. The purest time in nature's realm, in the early spring and fall. These are the days when hearts of life become one with self and all. The autumn sky is golden haze, in its radiant splendor tells our searching heart the flow of nature's ways.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us for Ohigan. We're going to excuse Dharma School students to their classes, and I'm going to come out and meet you all because Gary wants to say hi. And we'll be right back for Dharma Family Service. Okay, we're back. And so, welcome back for our Dharma Family Service portion of our service today, for our Ohigan service. I got all this stuff up here. Let's begin with reading the three treasures. So if you have the small purple book, it's on page 3, but we'll also have it up on the screen. Okay. Waiting for the screen to advance. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandab, namandab. Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to deliver the Dharma message now. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to continue with PowerPoint. Can you see him up there, Gary? So, I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I don't know if you have this calendar, the BDK calendar. Right? BDK is Bukkyo Dendo Kyokai. It's this group that translates the sutras. Our good friend Uncle Brian works for them. And they used to be in Berkeley, but now I think they're in Moraga or something like that. Right? And so they have a calendar, and it's a saying a day calendar. So this is the saying for today. It happened to be up on the wall yesterday because Doris advanced it for Sunday. So I was fortunate to see it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So it's a little small up there, but I've written it all out. Ooh. Yeah. So it says mo korita. Mo korita. Not mo korita. Right? Apparently in Japanese, mo korita means, oh, I've had enough. Right? That's not what it means. Okay? And the translation that they give at the bottom is, benefit others without concern for yourself. To benefit others without concern for yourself. So this is high-level Buddhism here, right? To try and help others with no thought of oneself. We see that, remember, Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday, so the first one, the G, we translate as giving or generosity, right? But the Sanskrit word is dana, which I think many of you have heard, right? Dana. And so dana is giving, but the perfection of giving, right? This is the 6 paramitas, or paramitas, the 6 perfections. So bodhisattvas try and do this, and they try to perfect it, right? A Buddha has perfected it. Perfect giving, perfect wisdom. And so perfect giving is giving without thought of oneself. Right? So that, rather than giving, well, there's all kinds of reasons why we might give, right? Maybe see my name on the, on the wall or something, or just for the feeling I get when someone says thank you, right? But to do it without thought for oneself, purely for the benefit of the other. And so that's kind of where this mo ko rita comes from. So I'm going to show you that first character, mo, means to forget. Wasureru. Wasureta, I forgot. right? Mo, now I have mo in uppercase letters and wasureru in lowercase. That's just a convention. Mo is the Chinese pronunciation, the onyomi, and then the lowercase letters, wasureru is the kunyomi, the Japanese pronunciation. So Japanese is pretty cool, but it's also very complex because they use kanji, which means Chinese characters, and sometimes they use it with a kind of older Chinese pronunciation. Sometimes they use it with the Japanese pronunciation, even the same character. So, but here, because it's those 4 characters, so it's kind of like a Chinese phrase of 2 and 2. So mo means to forget. That ko is self. Right? So like if you know Japanese, jiko shokai, self-introduction. Right? And that jiko is the ko from jiko. Shokai is to introduce, jiko means myself. Right? So that mo ko is to forget the self, to forget oneself. That is, without concern for yourself, try and help others. Forget me, forget what I want, I gotta help this other person. Right? So that's, this mo ko is this forgetting myself, okay? Then, remember, it's not mo korita, although maybe if you know that phrase, you can memorize it that way, right? But it's mo ko, and then rita, okay? This means to benefit others. Benefiting others, okay? Sorry, Gary. Ri is benefit, right? And there's a modern Japanese term, rieki. Right? The Buddhist special pronunciation is ryaku. Okay, but in modern Japanese it's rieki, right? And that ri just means benefit. I mean, Chinese seems like so foreign, and if you don't know Japanese, it can seem so foreign, but a lot of times it's just boom, 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 right? Just the meanings of the characters. The ta just means other, right? So ta is the Chinese pronunciation, hoka would be the Japanese pronunciation. So hoka wa, what else? What's the other one? So, ri ta. Ri, benefit, ta, others. Isn't that cool? I mean, to me, it's just fascinating how, in a way, simple it is, right, with these Chinese characters. So, this is related to, it's part of 2 terms in a way. Okay, oh, I have the tari wrong. This, jiri, and it should be rita. The tari is incorrect. It should be rita. Okay, so jiri and rita. Jiri is self-benefit. Ji is actually jiko. Remember jiko shokai, the self-introduction. So that's the ji from self. Jiko, right? But here just ji, self. Ri, benefit. And then ri ta. Ri to benefit, ta, others. Self-benefit, benefiting others. So one way to think about this is bodhicitta, or the bodai-shin, the awakening mind. Okay, so when we chant gan ni shiku do, or what is it? Gan ni shiku doku byodo se isai dohoten bodai shin. Dohoten means together to awaken bodai shin, this mind of awakening. This mind aspiring for awakening, and the mind aspiring to save all beings. This is the twofold bodai shin, okay, the twofold mind aspiring for awakening. And that mind aspiring for awakening is that jiri, self-benefit, right? To become a Buddha, I need to work on myself, and I have to do whatever it takes. Do the 6 paramitas, perfect them, meditate, maybe take precepts, which is what the discipline really means, become a monk, devote this life, if not many, many, many multiple lives, to becoming a Buddha, to become Buddha myself, self-benefit. But it's also the mind aspiring to save all beings. It's not all me, it's not about me, right? That in Mahayana Buddhism, becoming a Buddha is not just for myself, it's also to save everyone, to help everyone, right? So this rita, benefiting others. So when we do the 3 treasures, you know, in the Buddha one, oh yeah, I got the book here, sorry Gary. Maybe you go down here. the three treasures when it says, I take refuge in Buddha, may we all together absorb in ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. That's really awkward wording, if you know what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this: awaken in ourselves the supreme aspiration to become enlightened, myself, and aspiration to save everyone, to liberate everyone. Right? That this is the kind of two-pronged wisdom and compassion of Buddha. Right? So it's self-benefit, the wisdom, so that I can be awakened, and it's benefiting others. That it's not just about me, it has to include this compassion for others. So we could also see this as wisdom and compassion. We could also see it as awareness and kindness. Right? It all maps together. Right? Gary fell asleep and fell over off the podium. So that's what this moko rita is. Okay, this benefiting others without concern for oneself. And that's what's on the calendar. So if you have the calendar and you haven't been keeping up on it, right, go home and flip it for Sunday, the 26th, right, and it'll be this. And you'll be like, oh yeah. Or maybe if you do flip it every day, right, and every month, it's the same sayings every month, right? So maybe when you see it again next time, you'll be like, oh yeah, moko rita, right? This benefiting others without thought of oneself. There's more though. There's also, now here's the thing, this is high level. Really? Benefit others without any thought for myself? I remember when I moved to Berkeley as a student in 1996, and the dorm, which is still there, it's on Hayes Street, and then right above college, and then we'd have to walk down Haste, or you could walk down Dwight, right? And in order to get down to Cody's Books, where I worked, or to where the IBS used to be. So there's People's Park, right, which is still there. And so often, I think probably still now, but back then too, there were people asking for money. So one day, I thought to myself, right, I put $1 in my pocket. I'm like, I'll be ready in case someone asks, right? And as I expected, I'm walking down the street, walking past People's Park, and someone says, hey, can you spare a quarter? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, right? Gave him $1, right? And so then I walk along, and he's passed now, and I keep walking, and I'm like, hey, he didn't even say thank you. It's like he asked for a quarter, 25 cents. I gave him $1. I gave him 4 times what he asked, right? And nothing. Didn't say thank you. And then it hit me. Who was I giving this for? For whose sake was I giving this, right? Apparently, in this case, my sake. I did it partly to get thanks, right? To get this acknowledgement. So that got me thinking, wow, did I even help him at all, right? Giving money to people is, could potentially problematic, right? That who knows what he's going to do with it, right? Maybe it'll help him. Maybe that'll help him get some food that he really needed. Maybe he'll buy drugs and, get sick or even die, right? I don't know. And so I was thinking, how could I really help him? Could I really help him? Right? And I imagined, well, I guess I could have said, hey, I stay at this dorm. Why don't you come up with me and take a shower? Wow, I guess I could help buy some new clothes for you. Can I help you get a job? I didn't do any of this. This is just going through my head, right? To truly help with no concern for myself, right? And would I be able to really help them? So part of Shinshu, I think, is not to not help, but it's also to be aware of my limitations, right? To be aware that when I thought I was benefiting others without concern for myself, actually I was very concerned with myself. Right? And so actually, he taught me a very important lesson early in my studies, right? To see myself. To see, wow, that I thought I was doing one thing, but actually I was doing something else. Right? And so in one way, I can see him as a bodhisattva. He's the bodhisattva, not me. He's the bodhisattva, showing me myself, teaching me about moko rita, right? Teaching me about this benefiting others with no thought for oneself. So, there's this idea of rita, benefiting others, that we've been talking about, but then there's also tari, just reverse them. Okay, and so this comes from Tan Luan, who I talked about last week. Last week was online only, but if you want to go back and look, Tan Luan is one of the 7 masters of Jodo Shinshu, and so important for Shinran. So important, in fact, that the Ran in Tan Luan is Donnan in Japanese, so the Ran from Tan Luan is the Ran in Shinran. Shinran's character, he took one of his characters from Tan Luan, who has this idea of Rita and Tari. So Rita is benefiting others. Tari is benefit by the other. Right? So rather than me benefiting others, I'm being benefited by the other. And see, I have the O in uppercase letter there, because that other is Amida Buddha, the other power. Right? So this idea that as much as I want to try and put Buddhism into practice, right, and that I can have the 6 paramitas as my ideals, or as my values, maybe we could think of another way to put it. Right? So I have these values of kindness, friendliness, trying to benefit others with no thought of myself. That's the value that we hold. And yet, also realize that actually I'm being benefited by the other. Whether it was the guy who didn't say thank you, but who actually taught me so much, right? I received benefit. I was benefited by the other, by him, by this other person. Or the true other of Amida Buddha. Right? And that this benefit that we receive, we say Namo Amida Butsu, that's part of our path. That comes from Amida Buddha. It has all the virtues, all the merits are contained in the name. Namo Amida Butsu. It's actually not something, my saying it isn't the point. My hearing it, my receiving it is the point. That everything, any advancement on the path that I can attain is because of Amida Buddha, not because of me. Because if it's me, then I'm going to be doing it for my own or whatever. Another example, just of my incapacity, we lost power on Tuesday at home, because that was the worst storm in the 15 years I've been living here, at least the worst wind, right? That was really, really intense, right? And my whole house was shaking when the wind would blow, and I'm on the computer, and then boom, this big explosion, and I hear my wife screaming, there was a flash of light, and I go out there, she saw the transformer explode on the pole, right? So we had a transformer go out, lost power, didn't know, when it would come back. Ended up being almost exactly 4 days. Came back Friday at 3:30. Went out at 3:30 on Tuesday, came back at 3:30 p.m. on Friday, right? And when it first went out, I went outside and I could see these, I'm going to take this down for a sec. Ooh. If I can get my mouse up there. I could see the wires on the ground. Afterwards, I realized it was wet, right? Maybe I shouldn't have walked over there, but there was no sparks, so I survived. I'm still here, right? So I saw that. On Thursday, I saw my neighbors congregating, so I went down to see what they knew, and I look, there's a giant tree in the road. It's like, when did that happen? And they're like, oh, this is the 3rd one. The first one took out from the other side, and that's when the transformer exploded and the wires snapped. The second one demolished one of my neighbors' homes. They lost everything. Yeah, fortunately no one was hurt, right? But they lost their house. And then the 3rd one came down on this side, right? And so we have one of my neighbors couldn't get out with his car. He's just trapped for 2 days. They didn't cut it till Thursday. So for like a whole day, right? So we stayed here at the church, in the daytime, but at nighttime we'd go home. I had hot water, so I could take a shower. But it was like 37 degrees at night, so in the morning after you took a shower, it was freezing, right? But we could also use the gas stove, so I could make tea, before we went to bed and just kind of warm up, and we have plenty of blankets, so we were fine. By day 3, I was kind of starting to enjoy it. It was so quiet, right? No cars, my street's blocked, so no cars coming, no TV, right? No sound from outside. It was this beautiful peace and stillness. And it was so dark, right? And so we had a candle going. So the only light is this flickering candle, right? And this is like 3 days of this. And it was really, for me, it was like almost transformative. It was like, yeah, this is what life used to be like, right? What, even 200 years ago, right? Before electricity, that the only way you had light at night was lighting a candle or lighting a fire, right? And so, and then the best part, no internet. My phone was working, but, it would try to load stuff, but it would just really, my cell connection is really bad at home because I'm like in a little valley. So the phone didn't work, and I was like really starting to like it by day 3. You know how nowadays you think, oh, I have a question about something. I'll just look it up online. Oh, here's the answer. Right? Anything, we can look it up and get instant gratification. It was nice not being able to do that. Right? We were talking and we had a question about something and I was like, oh, no, can't look it up. Guess we'll figure it out later. This is nice. It was just really interesting not having the answers right in front of you. This peace and stillness and this natural light, right, of the candle. Friday, power comes on. Okay, I got to look stuff up. When's the next weather going to be? Okay, turn on the TV. Okay, crank that thing up. Okay, yeah, this is great. Okay, I'm going to go look something up over here, and I'm going to turn all this other stuff on. And right now I can turn the lights on and do totally different. And I had any desire to extend that enjoyment of the darkness and the quiet was out the window. I didn't care. I was so happy to have power back on. My refrigerator's humming away. The heater turns on, right? All these sounds. It's like, this is great. I just bought right back into it, right? Just slipped instantly back into my normal mode. And I really thought that was interesting, right? Like I didn't even have to take a light with me to go to the kitchen, right? And I didn't even have to turn this or that light on because the lights from outside are so bright, the street lights and everything, right? And I just remember thinking, oh, this is great. I don't have to get my lamp and turn it on and walk over here carefully and everything, right? Everything's great. Everything's back to normal. Is this normal? Right? This is futuristic society we've been living in for the past, 100, 150 years. And it disappears, and it takes a while, and maybe we can get back into a more natural mode. But as soon as we come back to this, I'm ready. Bring it on. Give me the internet. Give me the power. Give me the lights, right? Give me the heater. So I just thought that was really, really interesting to go through even that experience. That wasn't even about helping anyone else. That was just buying into the comforts of our civilization. Right? And so how am I going to give everything away? Right? How am I going to benefit others with no thought of myself? I think it's so important, though, for us to recognize this as our values, right? As Buddhists, as Mahayana Buddhists, right? That this is ultimately the Buddha path, right? The path to Buddhahood, to try and help others without thought of oneself. But the other flip side is that wisdom. If we don't have the wisdom, then you may not be helping, just like my example with giving the $1. Was I helping or not? I don't know. I'm limited. I don't have the ability or the knowledge to know the perfect way to help. Right? So they talk about skillful means or expedient means in Buddhism, upaya or hoben. Right? And this is the Buddha's ability to help others as needed. Exactly what they need. Right? I'm not Buddha. So I do my best. I try. Right? Try to help. But with an eye, with an awareness for when am I falling short of these ideals? Right? When am I not doing this purely for the benefit of the other, forgetting myself? Right? When do I maybe not know the answer, even though I think I do? Right? Even last night with a friend, I was talking with him just about something totally, silly. It was about a rock video. And is the band lip syncing, or are they playing and they're overdubbing the sound? I was like, no way, they're not. They're lip syncing. I was just really curt in my text. We're texting back and forth, right? And later on, I realized, A, I was kind of mean how I said it, and B, I don't really know that. Why was I so sure that I had to be so curt and swift in my cutting response? Well, that's me, right? This thing that I've been thinking about for 40 years, and it's going to come out, and I'm me, I'm right, I know. These are so strong in me. And so for Shinshu, there's a recognition of that, so that the path is not up to me. I don't attain Buddhahood by my own power, by self-power. So remember we had jiri, that can also be thought of as jiriki, self-power. Riki is like ryoku or chikara, right? Self-power. We don't go to the Pure Land, we don't become Buddha by self-power. It's other power. It's the power of Amida Buddha. It's the power of the vow. It's the power of the 6 paramitas that Dharmakara Bodhisattva perfected. Right? That the 6 paramitas, as much as I think it's important to have them as values, we also have to realize you don't have to do them. You don't have to perfect them, because Amida Buddha did, right? So that we can be led to the Pure Land that way. But again, I still feel as Buddhists, it's important to know this, and it's up to you. You can do whatever you want. But I feel like as a Buddhist, those are my values, right? That's how I see the way that I would like to take, right? The way, if only I could become a Buddha and help others freely as I wish, which is a term that Shinran uses, right? But with us recognition also that I don't have that pure, perfect freedom and ability to help others. So thank you very much. This Ohigan time is really interesting. I'm glad we did it today. It's so sunny and nice out. Last week we were here. It wasn't as bad as we expected. The running festival they did it, but I don't think there was that many people. But it was because the weather was so crummy. Right? It wasn't that bad, but it was dark and rainy, and so this was a much nicer day to do our Ohigan service. So wonderful to see the kids. I'm just really happy and blown away by our Dharma School, right? And really wonderful to see all of you as well. So why don't we conclude the Dharma talk with Gassho. Aspiring with the 6 paramitas as our values, but also recognizing that our attainment comes from benefit by the other, Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay, let's sing a Gatha, Ondok-san 2. And if you have your brown book, it's somewhere in there. 76. Page 76 in the brown book, and we can stay seated. We've been seated for Gathas. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Namanda. Okay, next we'd like to call on Robert Noguchi for announcements.
Okay, are we all set here?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Sensei. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Buddhist Church of Oakland. Thank you very much for coming. Those of you present at the temple today, as well as those online. Next week, well, first, let me start by saying thank you to Reverend Bridge for his Dharma talk and officiating today's service. like to thank Steve Terasaki for playing the organ, providing music for us today, and our Host 11 group, chaired by George Kamita for the month of March. Thank you very much to George and his group for providing hospitality to those attending service in person today at the church. And for the rest of the month of March, thank you so much for all your efforts and work on the church. Next Sunday, if you could see the monitor, I'm hoping that it came through, but our Hanamatsuri service is next Sunday, and I'm gonna actually be there in person because it's been such a long time since I've attended service in person that I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone for Hanamatsuri next Sunday. We'll have Kambutsu, which is the pouring of the sweet tea, over the baby Buddha in the Hanamido, starting at 9:30. So you can come early and go ahead and do that. And then our service will start at 10 with our guest speaker, former bishop of the Buddhist Churches of America, Reverend Kodo Umezu, who also was a minister here in Oakland for about 9-10 years. So we welcome him, as well as a retirement gathering that we'll have afterwards down in the social hall. So that's happening next Sunday. And let's see if I could get this thing to work. In 2 weeks, on Saturday, April 8th, Southern Alameda County Buddhist Church will present Sakura Jams. And that'll be a reunion dance starting at 7 p.m. going till 11. And it's just a whole lot of music and dancing and fun. Reverend Takashi Miyagi and Reverend Bridge from Oakland here will be doing things together, jamming and having with special guest DJs and whatnot. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Saturday night, April 8th, 7 to 11 p.m. So that'll be happening down Southern Alameda County Buddhist Church down in Union City. One other announcement I wanted to make, and I'm not sure if you could see this, but the Berkeley Buddhist Temple has a taiko group, and they've announced that they've got classes happening on Friday afternoon, I believe. So you can check their website, the Buddhist Temple of Oakland. Berkeley, berkeleybuddhisttemple.org. So you could check that out as well. Let's see. Oh, it looks like my screen was paused, so maybe you didn't get to see it. So anyway, with that, I'd like just to say one other thing, that donations are appreciated and welcome here at the Buddhist Church of Oakland. If you go to our website, thebuddhistchurchofoakland.org, and you could go to a donations page, and there's a number of different ways that you could give do via PayPal. And we appreciate all your support to the Buddhist Church of Oakland. Okay. And with that, I will go ahead and send it back to Sensei. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. One thing about our Hanamatsuri service, we'd like to ask you to RSVP, if possible. The RSVP will be on the website. So please go to the website and RSVP, and or you can call the office. If you're more comfortable, just call the office, and we'll have a list too. So we're just doing that to try and get an idea of how many people coming. I believe we have a guest. Can we just welcome our guest briefly? Is that okay? Do we have a guest from Australia? Oh, New Zealand. Great, thank you, welcome. Glad you could join us. This will conclude our spring Ohigan service. So thank you very much. Why don't we conclude with Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Okay, thank you.